if you're a Christian and a relative or a friend dies by suicide, clearly you are not going to take the body to the hospital and say the person died by suicide. You change the verdict to something else. What all of these will mean is that the numbers in terms of suicide will be low. Take Islam. If you are not a big man or woman in the Islamic community, few hours after your death, you are going to be buried. Your body will not be taken to the hospital, and so hospitals will not have the data. So clearly, the numbers we are having are gross underestimation of the exact or actual numbers of suicide we experience in our country. What we have to be happy about, however, is that at least we have now decriminalized attempted suicide. What that means is that when people die by suicide and they are taken to the hospital, people can confidently or boldly say, oh, he or she died by suicide. And then the actual figures can be taken. Again, what the attempted suicide that has been decriminalized, what it means is that people experiencing suicidal crisis can now seek help confidently without feeling shy or feeling demotivated. From our studies, and by here I mean looking at what happens within the media space in Ghana, typically media houses or journalists working with our media houses who are reporting on suicide will go every length to provide fine details about the suicide, particularly the how. So how the person died. So they will go and give all the details, which we think is not helpful. Because look, out there in terms of listenership and readership of the content put out by media houses, you have vulnerable groups, children, adolescents, young people, and also the aged. Now, these are age groups that have been established in the literature to be vulnerable to suicide. And so when you report such fine details or explicit details about the methods of suicide, you are only providing information to vulnerable groups out there in terms of the methods they can use to engage in the behavior. And so it's important that media practitioners are mindful about this. Now, another important element that we think the recommendations we have adopted for Ghana is important is because this time we also want to pay attention to the mental health of journalists themselves. Journalists who are reporting on suicide and other such traumatic deaths. Imagine you are a journalist assigned from or by your media house to report on, say, 5 suicide cases in a week. Can you imagine how you feel? So clearly, we also need to pay attention to the mental health and emotional health and well-being of journalists. And by this, we are encouraging media houses and media organizations to organize, once in a while, organize health workshops and self-care workshops for their workers, their journalists, so that they'll be able to also, engage in some self-care whilst they are in the field, reporting and covering news items related to suicide.
As we learned, the name of the deceased has been captured in the story, which of course we have to be exploring for it. The locations, we realize that they've been gone as far as mentioning the names of some places, for instance, the church of Pastor Jasari. It has nothing to do with the story, but it's to be taken out. The names of the traditional rulers also popped up in the story. So we realized that what we have next today, these are some of the things that ought to be removed. But if I can continue with the rewritten story, with the caption, former assembly member takes his life, his own life. And it says some family members and neighbors of a man in the community in the Volta region expressed shock at the report that he allegedly ended his own life. The deceased was seemingly well and went about his daily activities, including meeting with a community member to discuss the progress of the community. No. I'm just giving you the link to the story. So basically, that's what we have. Okay. And then the removal of the names, the picture as well, and then also the captions to the story. Okay. The wife's name as well. Okay. Not good.